Hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Polybridge. A viewer by the name of Zaltos has sent me this bridge design. I think it's really cool. If you remember the one that we did in the last episode, we swung a bridge to the side. And this is a far more elegant way to do that. I have recreated the image that he sent to me. And it's very cool, isn't it? So we've got like a little crane over here doing the pulling work, and then there's this little bit of road to make the transition for the car a little bit smoother. It still wobbles a little bit when the car goes across, and that's just another way to do that level. Very cool. Very cool. I like it. So, welcome back to another episode of Polybridge. I do want to say a massive thank you for all of the likes and support on the previous episode, completely surpassing that number once again. Thank you so much. This is actually going to be the last of our free festive episodes for the season, and don't be sad, I'll probably do more Polybridge in the future. I always love to pick up this game from time to time. We're going to go into sandbox mode today. That's right. And this has changed since I last looked at it. What we're going to be focusing on, though, is creating a big jump. We want to do jumps and then go through obstacles. And I'm going to rattle my brain and think about creative different ways that we could do this. How did I do this a second ago? Click there, click here, drag. That was the one, drag. And then you right click on it and you can edit it. Yes, so this is the way we're going to be doing stuff. We edit this shape like this, and then we can create like an obstacle, like a big platform with a gap inside of it, and this is how we're going to create our challenges. So I'm going to start off with something really simple, and then we're going to try and jump through the gap. So test number one, I'm having a bit of trouble finding a vehicle that'll make it across what is a relatively small gap, in my opinion. Let's see if that'll do it. Has it got enough juice? Oh, it kind of has actually. So with that distance, we'll need this vehicle probably going a tiny bit faster. Let's get it up to 400%. And this first challenge, by the way, is very easy. We'll make some stuff that's potentially more complex. I thought that was going to be enough for it. Let's try 450 then. Okay, I guess we need one of these. That's kind of crazy. Whoa, we broke the ramp and we did a flip over the top. Ah, that's hilarious. GG. Alright, here we go. 400% speed. Well, I guess that's the challenge now, isn't it? It's definitely got enough speed to get over there. Let's make this not asleep then and see what happens. Down it goes. Do you notice how, like, when it comes down the ramp, the back of the car picks up for a second? Looks really odd. Whoosh. And I thought it was going to get stuck. Yay, we did it. Right, now we've got to make these obstacles here more complicated. We've got a problem. Look at this. It doesn't work. Oh, it's so bad because the ramp... Oh, wait a minute. I might be able to solve this problem from here. Ah, look at that. What if I lower this down? Okay, that looks better, doesn't it? Yeah, that's a problem that the player shouldn't have to deal with, I'm saying. You know what I mean? Right, let's try that. Are you going to go level on... Oh, that... well, that bit was terrible. This clearly does look a little bit too sharp, doesn't it? And you can see here that the challenge is going to be real difficult. We're going to try and go all the way up there. Yikes. So what we really need is not something like this, but a big curve. And we'll probably be better starting from here so that we've got some nice support. Something like that maybe. That actually looks kind of reasonable. Now let's turn the length of the road down so it can be nice and smooth. We're going to go for 1 meter. I was hoping we could do less than that. Let's fill it in. Hi, is a problem at the get-go. Let's just change that slightly. Still a problem. This is amazing. Now obviously our bridge looks completely janky and it's wobbling, but look at that. It almost makes it. It almost makes it. So that's a strategy, you know. You could hit the front side of that. By the way, the second one is slightly taller if you're wondering. How can we make that more sturdy? That probably will make a world of difference. Yep, that looks whoa, but it broke. The car almost looked like it was going to get over that ledge. Okay, how about that for support? This thing has quickly become a complete mess. Wow, it just went way off into the distance. I think we should set a requirement for ourselves, and that requirement should be that this bridge shouldn't break. But we're going to delete all of that, because I think I made a bit of a mess having all of those roads. So, space high. No, that's not what I wanted to do. Let's try that again. Yeah, we'll work with that, and I think we'll remove the last one. Well, that looks nice and sturdy. And over it goes. Okay, so here's how we're going to adjust things. I want this thing to sort of go really high up and then drop down into the space. That's my plan on how to solve this one. That's a bit nuts. Ooh, it clipped the edge there. That was crazy. The entire thing broke though. We can't have that. I think it's a little bit too sharp for it. Let's try again. This is all I'm ever going to be doing. Just tweaking and changing and oh, the whole thing collapsed. So the philosophy here has become the more connections the better. That's just a mess of steel to me. And look at this. It breaks, but that thing goes so up high into the sky. And then, oh, almost there. You can totally do it this way. If you can do it without that bridge collapsing though. Well, it's not a bridge, is it? It's a ramp. I'm not so sure about that. Dude, come on. We're so close now. We're close but far because this thing is still just collapsing every single time. We are so painfully close. I love how you tweak a couple of things. You tweak a couple of things and it can go from a little bit collapsing to the entire thing collapsing. I think, to be fair, we're probably not going to be able to stop this from collapsing because the angle here is just so sharp. But let's try that again. It's going to be very fine adjustments now. This one might miss. Yes! Yes, we did it. Excellent. Right, that was fun. Now we're going to change the challenge and do something a little bit more complicated. Alright, next challenge. This bridge, by the way, looks totally built for business, although it's not that great. So, can you see the problem here? We've gone over the flag at the end. So what we have to do is hit that ceiling in a way that makes us land here. I think that's a really cool challenge. If this thing were going slower, I think you might be able to go through and then land on there, but because it goes so fast, it's not going to be possible. So what we will do is adjust that. We're also going, we should probably use cables here. I mean, I'm playing in like no budget mode. If I were to turn these into levels, I could then add, you know, budget requirements and limited materials, but I'm not going to look that much into it. We're just having some fun here today. And whoa, easy. That's not the way over. It might be possible to create a ramp that goes over the top, but we're not going to try and cheat it like that. Well, this might be easier than expected because with the right little nudge, bam, it lands on there. So I think we need to make the obstacles even more difficult. So my thinking here is that you got to manipulate the car in a way where you hit this bit and then you go up into this space. And I think what we might do is change this shape to give you a little bit more room. But I just did the bridge for a test run and this happened. So let's watch it in action. It's like you could almost make it through that gap, but if you saw there it nudged the top one. I think we've sort of proven that you couldn't. Well, we haven't really proven that you couldn't, but it's very close. Let's lower that down the tiniest fraction and see what happens now. Oh, do you know what? I reckon it might be possible to go straight through that gap and over, which means it could be a precision jump more than a technical jump. I was sort of picturing us hitting the bottom bit so we would flip upwards and over. And this is going to be tough. This is going to be really tough, this one. Found it, I've got it. Look, watch what happens. Amazing. Oh, wait a minute, you've missed the flag. You have missed the flag. That might be really tough. So anyway, let's aim for this bottom wall. That's what I want to do. I want to hit the bottom wall and then have the vehicle sort of flip up and go through the gap like that. Which might not work. As I said, this thing's sort of in the way and that has missed the bottom wall by a fair bit. Okay, this is promising. Look at the way it hits it. It almost has a little bit of momentum to go upwards. So what we're going to do, ever so slightly, very, very slightly move that up. And now, it kind of lands on top of it. It either bumps straight into the front or lands on top of it. Okay, this might just be as close as we get. I mean, that's incredible. That's what I was looking for. Yes, we've missed the flag, but I don't think we're going to be able to do any better than that. That's what I was aiming for with that stunt, to hit the front and flip through the gap. And I'm pleased that we've done that. And any slight adjustment, and no, we're nowhere near. Let's undo, because we're not going to see that again. It takes so long tweaking this thing to get a decent jump. Amazing, that's so cool. That really is. How about we leave this intact and we think about what's next? So, we hit this, and then we put another obstacle here. Yeah, that's what we're going to do. Okay, we're kind of taking the mick a bit here. So I added another obstacle here, and look at the way it hits it. It's just enough for it to drop straight down onto the flag. So I decided to add a couple more things and ended up with this, which I thought was kind of funny. It gets stuck right before the end. GG. GG, man. Let's press stop. Let's go to the editor and then let's delete. We don't need to delete this one because it's not in the way now. I think we're going to knock this one on its head. I've got to think of another way to create a challenge for us using these shapes. But check it out what happens when there's just these ones here. Like, the angle's got to be perfect for that work. For that... Did I just say for that work? For that to work. English. Let's adjust that ever so slightly. And then will it even get through the gap now? No, it doesn't. I was thinking if we could see it get through the gap, you'd probably find that that actually blocks it from getting on there. So it's kind of cool what you can do with this stuff. So I kind of ran out of ideas for doing bridges with obstacles. And so I went to the workshop and then spent a couple of hours playing levels that I couldn't solve. And I'm like, let's pick something easier. And I found this one here. And this looks actually like it might be quite easy. It's called Over or Under. You've got a very small budget. And I think the idea here is it's a little bit of a puzzle. A is going to go to there, and then B needs to go to this side. Now, it says over or under. I don't think under is actually an option. So what I'm thinking, looking at this, is that we get A to stop here, and then B needs to go over the top of A, right? So let's... that doesn't look too great, but let's try that. Let's make sure it's... aha, it doesn't go there. Well connected as well. That is obviously not well connected. That is a terrible connection. This in itself might not be very strong, but let's see if it holds out. We can use steel, actually, I've just noticed. Oh, it's only the Diddy car as well, so it'll probably be fine. Right, that's interesting. What if we could get it to hit the flag and roll off? Because if it went into the water, that would be a nice little parking space for it. Would it not? Let's raise this one higher, make this bigger, and then have it... maybe that'll work. Just needs a little bit more speed to roll off the edge, you know? So it builds up some speed, then it goes roly-poly. I don't think it's going to get over the edge. I don't think that's going to be possible. Okay, so let's make this a little bit smaller. What if we get A to stop a little closer to where this is? So it's going to drop down. And this is going to fail miserably again, isn't it? No, that's not going to work. Alright, so how about... let's see what happens when we do that. What if it parks there and the other car goes over the top of it? Interesting. That looks like it might work. It's got some potential. Oh, it's going. Go on. Ah. Not quite. I've also just realised that we have forgotten something very important, which is to have a bridge here as well. I mean, it's not going to go anywhere unless it can get past that bit. Right, let's speed it up. It's the same problem again. No. So close, yet so far. Perfect parking position. And it gets almost all the way over it. And unfortunately it stops. So this is once again, as we've seen many times in this game, just a case of fine-tuning. Alright, this one is golden. So watch the way it parks. Hilarious. That one nudges it into place, and this one goes over the top. That was fun. We've got to look for more little challenges like that. This one sounds cool. Ropes only. There's a good idea. If I've ever seen one. We can only use ropes, eh? Now straight away I think we have to throw the conventional idea of having a straight road out of the window, because what's going to hold it up? We've got to use something different. This is going to be really, really tough. I think in a curve like that makes sense. And we're left with one piece of extra road. Okay, so that's good. Maybe it could slack a little bit lower if we needed it to. Now, initially I'm thinking, why are these here? I'm not really sure. Maybe they'll help hold positions into place. Like, that's still... in fact, if there's something on the opposite side, surely that's going to help it hold it in place. I feel like there's some sort of explanation behind that, something to do with physics, but I can't think of the words that would make any sense, or if I even know what I'm talking about. But I do believe it might help just hold it into place, because if it pulls this way, like goes slack there, this one's on the other side keeping it tight. This ain't gonna work, man. Oh my goodness me, it's holding up. Well, that's just the small car though. Oh, no way are we gonna get this done in one go. I'm calling it now, I'm jinxing it, alright? Yeah, I jinxed it big time, didn't I? What happened there? As soon as it dipped down, it just collapsed immediately. I think the slope might be too much. So if there was a way for me to strengthen this, the only thing I can think of is, well, maybe, let's turn the grid on for a second, maybe there's a central point there. Right, and that puts us over budget, great. Well, let's say it just so happened that these weren't needed, these ones on the side. Hi, there we go. Would that be better in any way? I doubt it, but we'll see. Let's speed it up and slow it down. And this one's going to destroy my bridge. I'm thinking it may be too deep as well, yeah. That was terrible. So what if the real problem was that this went too low for that car, right? So we make it a little bit higher. And what I've noticed this time is that our bit at the top there is slacking. So it's probably not providing a lot of support. And that's taking up a lot of the budget, and we're over budget. But let's see what happens when the bigger car comes across. What you going to do, buddy? Well, you kind of went on there like a sport, but it didn't go down too well, did it? Let's delete that. So here's another idea. What if we then added ropes going across like so? Will that even help? I have no idea. But it kind of looks a little bit better, maybe. We don't really know. We'll soon find... Let's speed it up. Man, that's slow. How are you going to do? No! No. That's terrible. Well, thinking with triangles isn't going to work too well. Look at that slack. It does us no favours at all. Whole thing falls apart. Oh, terrible. Terrible. Oh, I was not expecting that. I was not saying anything. I was looking at it like, man, you're going to fail. But it worked. Oh, here we go. Here's the real, yep, destruction. Death and destruction. Do you want to know what made a massive difference there? We're going to delete this, though, because I'm going to build it again and show you. Is to add extra ropes. Funny enough. More ropes, the better. Let's fill that in. What I did is like this. Bam. So now that one's got a little section between it. That's kind of confusing, actually. We should put all of those in first. So that should help. I say should, but we kind of know that it does help. Now that's a little bit more raised up, isn't it? So it might not have the same effect. It doesn't look good. Please work. I've got my fingers crossed. I hope you got yours crossed as well. Wish me good luck. Oh, yes! No! Maybe! Well, something there's got to be tweaked. But let's see how this one does. Ah, and it's broken, so it's not a fair test. But, hey, it did better. So maybe we just need to lower it a tiny amount now. So we're running at double speed. Ugh. Why? So we're running at double speed. Oh, I did it again. Yep, that looks promising. That looks promising. Come on. Ah. I'll show you what I've done in a second. I want to try one more thing. I want to add a rope there and a rope there. And it made it... Well... I can't believe that. What I did, let me show you, is raise this back up, but also brought these in, right? So this bit here is a little bit smoother than if it's further out, then it's got to do more of the work. Maybe putting it there would work. I don't know. At this point I'm starting to run out of ideas. Peeps, I'm officially fed up. This is a tough one that I can't get my head around. I really want to finish it, but I'm looking at the clock. And as I mentioned, or did I mention it? I can't remember. I spent like quite some time playing some levels that I couldn't solve, and I can see the same thing happening again, which means I've run out of time for recording Polybridge, unfortunately. Got other things to do in the day. So that is going to be it from me. Sorry to end on a bit of a downer, but... there you go, we didn't quite do the level, and I'm sure in the future we'll be back again with some more Polybridge. But yes, that's it, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time, bye bye.